Okay, hey everybody. If you're here, that means you are ready to learn some advanced recorder notes and techniques, mostly notes and fingerings and songs. Um, if you aren't fully comfortable with D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, then go back and practice the other videos that are on here. There's the YouTube videos with the music up and the recording to play along to, and there's the beginning and right hand practice videos like this one. But if you are ready for the advanced stuff, let's do that. So we have low C if we need it, which is everything. We know going uphill, D, E, skip F for now, but that is how you would do F natural with these recorders. You'd think it would be that, and that's really what it would be, but it's so out of tune that we have to go C, D, E, F. But let's forget about F natural unless you are trying to read a song with it, which is common if you're reading something that wasn't written for recorder. You might know all the notes except for that F. Usually we don't throw in the F natural on recorder till pretty advanced. We use songs with F sharp, right? So D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. So let's talk about our two highest notes here that we might be using in these songs to get all the way up to black belt and some of the other music that I've given you. So the first is high D. So high D is like C without the thumb. So you can practice going between the two. And then you can practice going up the G scale, G, A, B, C, D, and coming back down. And actually, if you look at the Recorder's Method book, which is available, you can re-download that on my website to get the whole thing. I don't have practice tracks beyond number 29, but I would like to do that soon. It's not always in the best order for practicing, like F sharp comes before D. I do like to learn low D before that. But if you look all the way to number 38, this is all those 5 notes I just played, and it also throws in the arpeggio, G to B to high D. So I'm going to play number 38 for you, and you'll see that it goes from half notes and then quarter notes and then eighth notes down at the bottom line. Number 38 from the Recorder's packet. 2, ready. Want to say hi? Oh, this is Henry. Here, you want to see yourself? There you are. Say hi to everybody. I don't know if he's heard me play recorder before.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is our dog down here. Oh, I stopped after the first 2 lines because he distracted me. Just a quick note. Don't let your fingers go further than mine were going. I was trying to do that to show you. B to D can be a little tricky, especially when you're so far away. And this exercise is written slurred, so you can hear any of those slight mistimings. All right, I'm going to continue on the 2 faster parts. Have a good snack. The rest of that, number 38. Second half, 2, ready. Uh-oh. Okay, you don't have to take it that fast, but if you can do it that fast, that means you're very comfortable and it's in your muscle memory. All right. I meant to cover low F sharp in this video, but I did in the end of the other video, the intermediate one. So if you want help on that, you can look at that. But let's take a look at high E. Okay? High E is just like low E, except you're going to do a thumb leak. It's called a half hole. Other instruments have keys like this, or woodwind instruments called an octave key or a register key sometimes. And in this case, yes, it leaps it up the octave from low E to high E. And you don't need to let go of your grip there. You can just pull it back a tiny bit. It doesn't even have to be an entire half of the hole, just a leak. Some recorders can feel a little bit harder than that. This one seems nicely built to go between those two notes. And also in the recorder's packet, number 40 is called octave key. It just goes between those two E's. You can practice that one, or just practice like I did, going between the two. So now that you can do high E, you can do the entire E minor scale, which is pretty cool. That's the last one in the recorder's packet, all the way from low E, F sharp, and then every other note all the way up to E goes like this. So I should go back and practice that high part again. I had a slight mistake going from C to D to E. But anyway, those high notes aren't so bad, especially D. It's pretty similar to C. You're going to want to look at the Blue Belt song to practice those high notes, high B, C, and D. In fact, let's see if I can look at that. It's sideways on my computer right now. G, B, C, D is the pattern. And then you have the tie to the quarter note on that D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There's also a breath mark, so it's almost the same thing as a whole note and a quarter rest. So just like in Down by the Bay, you want to be breathing on the beat 1 and then coming back in. Third time it changes. The D, B, and G, that's part of your G arpeggio. It's important to be able to go between those three notes. And you see it here. And then it lands on A, as sort of a pause, sort of a comma in the phrasing. But to practice When the Saints, you want to listen to it, make sure you get the rhythm right, and all those ties will extend the notes, combine them together. Some of them last for 5 beats. I guess they all do, but one of them on the word number has a dotted half note tied to a half note. It's even trickier there. But this song doesn't have any right hand, so it's a great one to practice just the left hand high notes. Okay, it doesn't have any low F sharps, E's, or low D. It's the rhythms that will get you. So it's good to practice singing that song. Why don't we play it all the way through here? Oh, When the Saints. I'll give you 5 beats, because again we have a pickup measure. 5 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the O in the middle of the second line comes in on beat 2. It's a little bit of an unexpected syncopation. In O I want. And then number is a little tricky. D to C. Be uncomfortable doing those D's up there without touching much of anything on the recorder. So that's the blue belt. In many ways, I think the red belt's easier. Talked about that in the last video with the low F sharp. Brown belt, Amazing Grace, is pentatonic, so it's the rhythms that are actually tricky here, but it's all D, G, A, and B, and high D. That's it. There's no F sharps, no C's, or even high E's in it. So you can listen to that one and practice. Now, Ode to Joy, also, there's just one right-hand note in there, the low D, but besides that, it's all left hand. You probably know how this one goes. So if you want to impress yourself or impress other people, try the black belt song, Ode to Joy. You don't have to do these in order. And it doesn't go up to high E either. It's just all the same notes that we've done. So G, A, B, C, and D, all just stepping up and down the scale. And there's that one low D in there. And then some of the rhythms are a little bit tricky with the B, C, B. Okay, you might want to isolate that in practice. Here's Ode to Joy. 1, 2, ready. Pardon me, I had to swallow in there. And I can only see part of the song and it's sideways on Google Drive here. But there's that one anticipation note after the low D, the B, which is in the original. And a lot of times in student music, they'll just cut that out. But it's cool that they have it in here because it's very simple rhythm otherwise, except for those dotted notes. 1 and 2 and 3. B, A, or A, G, G. But the end of that third line there. And then that B is tied over to the next line, the next measure, that one beat. Okay, so a lot of people will play. And then start on the B on beat 1 like it is at the beginning. But how it's written and how Beethoven wrote this was his last symphony, by the way, and featured the big choir coming in to sing this. Okay, this was an existing poem, I believe, and it is an ode or a tribute to joy. Okay, it was an existing poem that he set to this melody as part of his last final symphony, and it was very well received. But he was completely deaf by that point too, which is wild to think about. Okay, but that end of that third line again. Sorry. All right. So that's the BCBs, the dotted notes, and that one anticipation on the B are the hardest parts, and that low D. You only have it once. You need to make sure that right hand's ready and change your air a little bit so it comes out as low. So one more here to practice low notes, and that would be This Land Is Your Land. It's number 35, I believe, in the recorder's packet. And I've always said that this would be a gray belt beyond the black belt. I did have one student finally play it for me on Flipgrid this year. Very impressive. But if you play it, you can give yourself a gray wizard level belt. Okay, so There it is. This Land Is Your Land. It just practices low notes mostly. So while that went all the way up to D, this one practices your low D, E, F sharp, and G. Actually, no E there. So a couple patterns to practice. They're labeled on the music with the notes, the letters inside, generally, when it's tricky patterns. So the second line, D, G to B, that again is that arpeggio of the G chord. If you throw in the high D there, you can really get a nice arpeggio. Okay, and then other patterns, especially at the end, where it goes A, G to F sharp. Skip E, luckily, it's actually easier to go to D. D back to F sharp. So those 3 out of those last 4 notes, D, F sharp, A, that's the D arpeggio, the D major arpeggio, which always wants to go back to G, to the home bass. So it's always the second to last thing that you'll see in a song that's in G major. Not always, almost always. If you ended on that A, it wouldn't sound over, or the F sharp wouldn't sound over. Because the G is the do, the F sharp's the T, and the A is the re. So let's try This Land Is Your Land, number 35. Again, another one with pickup notes, just like the Bluebell song, When the Saints. So 13 beats and then you're in. It says 13 beats, but I haven't made a practice track for this one yet. But you can find this song all over the place. It's by Woody Guthrie. Might be the only song in this entire packet that was written by a person that we know. Okay, even though all the rest are folk songs generally, or ones I made up. And Woody Guthrie was a folk singer, but he did come up with this one himself. All right, This Land Is Your Land, after beat 13. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we saved that F sharp for the very end. Hopefully that melody and rhythm are familiar to you. So, practice strategies. You need to be smart about your practice at this level. Of repetition, practice the hard parts more than the easy parts. Practice at a steady tempo. Look for patterns, steps and skips, and then big leaps. Scale passages that are just moving up or down in stepwise motion. And then the skips, in multiple skips, is usually an arpeggio. G, B, D, or D, F sharp, A. Okay? Very common to see those all around the place. So we practiced high notes with the Black Belt song and low notes with This Land Is Your Land. Let's just do one more here. It's one I posted recently in the reggae lesson. There's a couple of recorder songs there. And this one's interesting. It's a lot of fun. There's 2 parts actually. Part 1 is tricky, part 2 is simpler. We can look at part 1. And there's also one called Jamaican Sunrise that's in there that you can practice and learn. Let me know if you want more. I have more books, I have more recorder music. I can easily send it to you. If you can play all this stuff, if it's easy, you want to learn more, let me know. But real quick, hopefully I can put this up so you can see it here, but if not, it is in the, look in the music choice board. It says reggae. Okay, and so there's some good reggae music and some recorder things in there too. All right, so we have some eighth notes that rise. That's simple, right? G, A, B, and that B tied to a B on the 1 and 2 and then we go C and back down. Repeat that again. The next four measures are repeated of the same thing, but 2 steps higher. So it's B, C, D, D. Finally, we get to do that high E. So D to E is a lot of fingers. You want to practice that. So the next four measures go like this. And the B section is a bit different. There's some big leaps here, and the measures all look the same, but they are slightly different from each other. So look closely. The letters are in there to help you, but look at the lines and spaces. The B section goes like this. So those 2 G's are the same, and all of those measures end on the high D. But the first measure is B with a low D. Second measure is C with a low E. And then the same thing for the next 2. Okay, so you want to practice that slowly. Practice going from low D to high D, from low E to high D, until you can do it quicker. And then the next section is the same as the beginning, but then just slows down a tiny bit at the end. Let me see if I can pick up the pace. Although it's a reggae song, it's not all that fast. Ends on the B. I need to practice getting my E out nice and clear. All right, hope everyone's doing well. Let's see, 23 minutes, that's a long video. Well, if you made it this far, props to you. Be in touch, share with me on Flipgrid or share with everyone on Flipgrid. Just with me if you're looking for feedback or want to share. If you want to show off with everyone, share with everyone. There's already some other people on there. And if you're practicing any of these songs, I'm sure there's lots of people who will be impressed. Hope everyone's doing well. Let me know if you need anything. I will see you around. Bye.